Hey everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are reviewing a Silver Anna. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate that. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself,
How'd a guy like
you
you
can do
get a
that by
nickname
joining
like
my Discord
Sparrow
in the
anyway?
description below. See what rates look like, what sort of promos, special events we have going on. In fact, right now we are scheduling server scrims or server pugs, whatever you want to call them there. So if you join the Discord, you can see when those are. Sign up if you like, play against other viewers of the content, members of the Discord, all that good stuff. But for now, let's see how our Silver Anna is going to do. Okay, so you're running out here. You have yourself a Zen. No Winston Zarya as your tank line. You've got a Genji to combo with for Blade or for Nano Blade. We like it.
It's just a scratch. You'll be fine.
Okay, so the expectation here, and it's unwritten, but the expectation here is that you're going to pay a little bit more attention to Winston and potentially Zarya, and your Zen is going to pay a little more attention to Genji and Pharah. I'm not saying you can't hit the Genjis and Pharahs, though in Silver it's a little questionable, but his orb just sort of sticks to them. Even when they go do things, as long as they don't break line of sight for more than 3 seconds, or he doesn't move it, even if they go behind walls and such, which is really cool. He's not going to have like missed shots on them the same way that you are. And 30 health per second is a much bigger percentage of their health bars than 30 health per second is of Zarya's health bar, for example. Whereas you take almost a second per shot. That's just her rate of fire. It's like, hey, what's going to take more than half a second, a little less than a second for her rate of fire. And like, you don't want to heal a Genji that's missing 40 HP with a shot that takes you 3/4 of a second. Like, ooh, that's kind of ugly. Whereas the tanks are much likely to have taken a little more damage than that, and you're going to get more per shot value into them. This is not me saying you can never heal Genji or that you can never heal Pharah. Don't take it as that, but you want to put a little more of your focus on the Winston, and here we go.
It's just a scratch. You'll be fine.
Hey, Manny. And you care about this Pharah, don't get me wrong, but I'm kind of already done, and oops, in paying attention to this Pharah, you're not really set up for where the fight's going to happen. You're not rotated up here to be able to support your Winston. You're not rotated potentially up here, though I wouldn't actually have done this in this situation, to be able to support your Winston. You're not up here to be able to support your Winston. And we could very much predict that our Winston and our Genji were going to go in like this. And we were going to need to be able to support them. And while we don't have to immediately peak to support them, we have to now walk from here to here or here to here to support them, and that's going to cost us a good 3 or 4 seconds. That is a long time of them having to be in the battle without our support. We didn't really want them to be in the battle without our support for more than 2 seconds. And you're still not even moving forward. You're back here paying attention. Oh no. Oh no. And we lost our Winston. And could we have saved our Winston if we'd been positioned better? Well, let's take a look. Okay. Well, Winston still got enough health here. If we'd been up here, which would have been totally reasonable and pretty darn safe, we could have put 2 quick heals into Winston. That would put him at a good 80%. That would give him a little bit of armor. And even just a little bit of armor reduces the incoming damage from this hog left click by a lot. So maybe we could have, and at very little risk to our own life. I'm not talking about you being out here. I'm talking about you being here, where you can see Winston and no opponents. Mm-hmm.
Clearing the area.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Purple, you can't help him. And see how by the time you can help them, the Harmony Orb's already on him. Zen's got this under control. Now, you can heal him anyway because you don't have much better to do. Your Zarya is breaking sight and your Winston isn't here. But I'm just pointing that out. You need to understand your support pairing. Oh no. So this happens, and this is sort of pre-healing. This fight isn't really real. The fight hasn't really started. Your team isn't likely to take a bunch of damage yet. It's not real. And you're down to half a clip. So this is probably a good time to reload. When you got down to like 7, 8, 9, maybe 6 shots on Ana, it's time to reload if the fight hasn't really started and no one desperately needs a heal. Because now this fight is starting for real. Winston is going in, and you're at 4 out of 12. You're at 1/3 of your clip. You're going to have to reload pretty early in this fight. If you had to reload, after spending 8 shots in a fight, that's fine. A fight's going to be fairly deep in how it plays out by the time 8 shots have been used. But if you have to reload 4 shots into a fight, that's going to be dicey. Reasonable nade.
I will keep you healed. I will keep you healed.
Here's this reload. Wouldn't it be nice to be healing Winston right now? You have to. Oh, and sleep, but it's too late. Yep. Yeah, it just took too long for you to realize you were taking damage there. Not a big deal. I don't know why you're being AFK right now. Like, you're typing at your team about how you're angry at them and how they need to protect you. I'm making this up. But that's the same as you being AFK. That's not doing anything useful. That's not setting up your positioning for the next fight. The only even a remote saving grace that you have is it was a reset and they're going to respawn behind you. But when someone like Winston respawns behind you and then gets ahead of you, you're going to be the one delaying your team again.
You're covered.
Do not type. If it's worth saying, you say it in voice chat. If you don't want to be in voice chat, that's fine. You can, at this level, mostly just on reaction go, oh, Hog threw a hook, let me throw a sleep. Just on reaction, you can throw sleeps at hooks because he kind of roots himself when he's hooking like that. If he does get someone, you want to sleep him before he can reel them in, or as he's reeling them in, before he can get his left click off. And even if it's hooked you, so be it. Like, you want to just sort of sleep these on reaction. Once you get to a much higher level, you'll start doing ult tracking. There may be the occasional situation where you go, no, I have to hold it because the second I use this ult is going to come out, this Nano Blossom is going to rip us apart, etc. But most of the time, you can just train the habit of reactively sleep hog hooks like this.
This is going to hurt.
Get the heal on Winston, good.
Watching your back.
And you close the angle, nice. Play tighter on the left wall. Okay. You don't really need to push into this. Like, you didn't really need to push into this at all. You could have played on this left wall. If you wanted to change the angle, you could have gone up here. There's not really a need to get up here where you're just, like, scary in the open. If you'd fully dealt with this high ground, your team had cleared this, your Winston had dealt with it, because you'd been supporting him from here, then you could transition up to here to support your team for handling this direction. That you could do, but there's not really a good reason to play in the middle of this lane before you've cleared that, nor is there a good reason to run up here when you could play from here and support your team going this way. But you wouldn't even want to be here yet because this hog isn't dealt with. Now you could be here because this hog is effectively dealt with, but
Get back.
still wouldn't be here.
I'm under attack.
Escort the
Press. Okay. Fine, you'll let the payload heal you.
I am moving the payload.
You don't need to be this far in the open, especially when there's a Widow on the other team. Don't peek. Don't peek. Don't walk into the open like that. There's a Widow. Do you know exactly where she is?
This is going to hurt.
So, like, we're probably not winning this. We can just back off. Tuck tighter on the left corner. Sleep him. Too late.
You're escorting the payload. That makes it not less. Hands off. Escorting the payload.
Remember I talked about how your rate of fire on Ana is kind of slow? Well, you can hide that slow rate of fire. You can weave abilities between that slow rate of fire. You can go like shoot sleep. You can go shoot nade. You can go shoot melee. And it's shoot ability shoot is sort of how you want to think about this. So here you slept him and you're sort of waiting and then you go for your nade. You don't want to do that. You actually want to shoot him while he's not moving and is a very easy hit, and then your nade hitbox, which is much more forgiving, is easier to hit when he starts moving, when he starts getting up. But also, it it hides the delay between your shots. You can shoot, then nade, and then if necessary, shoot again. But you didn't want to open with a nade here. And yes, I'm aware of this intro. I just don't care.
Help me.
Cover, cover, cover.
Get in there.
Okay, so it's not terrible. It is not terrible to nano monkeys. It is not terrible at all. But your Genji is going to rage a little bit because he's playing Genji. There's an Ana on the board, and he didn't get nano when he has Blade. Gonna rage a bit. And did you have to use this here? Was this some like, oh, we have to do this thing?
Help me. No power down.
No.
Get in there.
You just forgot. You just forgot that you had a Genji with Blade here. Yeah. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Rocket barrage incoming.
You can go push cart. Why are you in the middle of the lane? Go push cart. What? Excuse me? Excuse me? What are you doing? Get back here, push cart at this angle, do something like this. Maybe if you want to get sneaky, you like kite over here, you rotate up here to hit a really hard angle nade or something like that. But really, just get back here, push the cart from a sight line that you can still interact with your team and where your team is expected to engage the enemy. That's all. That's all it takes. I don't know what you're doing here. No cover, nothing. It hurts. Okay, push the cart from behind the cart.
You'll be fine.
Why? Okay, you can shoot. You can shoot. Take a shot. Shoot at the soldier. Shoot at the diva. Whichever you want. Diva's discorded. Shoot at her. Easy target. Discorded. No problem. Shoot at the soldier instead. Smaller HP pool. Either one's fine with me. What are you doing? Take your shot. They don't hurt you at this range. I mean, soldier can, but... It can't move yet. Now it can.
Keep the payload in motion.
Don't just stare back so long.
Keep the
You don't care about what's back here anymore. There's no enemies back here. Face forward again. Face forward again. Okay, get behind the cart. Use the cart as your cover against this window. Just go here, crouch back here, and let the cart be your cover against the window while continuing to make cart progress. Easy peasy. Zen.
You're going to be okay.
Tuck harder to the right if you're gonna... Yeah, this is why you tuck harder to the right.
And I have to bring him.
You hear the hog? You hear him? Good sleep. Go join Zen on his side. Nope, nope, nope. The second time that hog has just donated his ult to your team. A little bit of a gift. What do you... Why do you hate your Genji? Like, oh look, Genji's missing health. And I don't mind if you go get this health pack, but please continue through and then heal him from over here or something. Like, he looks to you like he's in combat and he might need some help.
That's much better.
No. Okay.
We're going to live.
I'm on fire. Experience tranquility.
Rocket barrage incoming.
Okay. This still isn't an amazing place to stand, and I hope you realize that. Like, you're here, You can go over here for cover, or you can go over here for cover, but either one is going to take you at least 2 seconds. Probably 2+ seconds to go this way, 3.5 seconds to go this way to get to cover. We don't like that. Our next cover is sort of the cart, maybe is cover against stuff, but not really, because we look at the cart and they come in at high ground above the cart. And you're thinking, oh, but the Winston bubble. No, you don't have enough control of the Winston bubble, because A, the Winston bubble breaks, but B, for you to have control over cover, you sort of have to be close to it. I can very easily and very quickly change how much of this cover covers me here. If I'm using this cover and I'm back here and an opponent is right on the cover, it takes me forever to change how much that cover covers, and it takes the opponent no time to open it back up. So please stop standing in the middle, stand near cover. You can literally stand tight on corners, like all the time as Ana. It's amazing.
Score 0-3.
Well, there's a few of our viewers showing up. We were a bit light. I guess I caught people as they're leaving offices to go home from work or something, and they're all on the roads. We'll see. We'll see.
Initiating
The payload is cover, if you're close to it.
what you believe in.
The person who's closer to the cover tends to have more control over whether or not it's cover.
Is your most dependable ally.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
We all have our jobs to do.
Ready for battle. 5, 4.
I think you have to be closer to the payload for it to be cover. Right. If you're on attack, the payload also heals you. Right. It's pretty great.
Defend objective A.
Now you've got yourself a Mei, still partnered up with the Zen, and now you're looking at Ryan instead of Winston. Who are you aiming at? Are you hanging out ready to pre-heal Reinhardt, who you expect to take damage? Are you hanging out ready to take a shot? Are you hanging out ready to take a shot offensively? Like, what is this? This isn't a place where enemies appear. This isn't a place where friendlies need help. Get your crosshair placed more reasonably. That's why attack is better than I can blow out the pistol more. Okay.
I have your back.
Right idea. Okay. So, right idea. Totally like this. Here we are. We tried for the nade. Situation sort of changed. We're going for some heals. We're trying, and after this Reinhardt shot, we correctly realized Reinhardt isn't in danger. He's got a full health shield. He's on the ground away from the fight. We need to pivot up and heal our friend. And I like this. This is good. It might have been one more heal than she needed, but this is good. Then we go, hey, we've got a reload. And it would have been right to flick down and heal our Reinhardt if we had shots left in our clip, but we don't. So now what we actually need to do is we need to expect that by the time our reload is over, the stabilizing that we had done up here is going to be somewhat undone, and we're probably actually going to need our next shot. Even though Reinhardt's at half health, we're probably going to need our next shot up here. If we hadn't had to reload, absolutely, next shot down here. But we have to factor in that the reload does cost us time, and it's time to check on the people who are actually in more danger. This Zarya at 3/4 health is in more danger than this Reinhardt at half health. That's reality. The Mei, same thing. The Mei at 60% health is in more danger than the Reinhardt at half health. And you might not be able to heal the Mei, but I don't know that you won't be able to heal the Mei by the time your reload is over. You could have healed the Mei. You could have shot her in the foot. Worked out okay, but you do want to be aware of this. Clutch heal with nade, realized it on cooldown. Hit reload. Okay, okay. The Ryan's got a Zen balloon too. It's true. Don't just... No, you're panicking because she's in the ice block. You just get used to this with Mei. We totally would have liked to heal her in time to make her not use her ice block. But she did. She did use her ice block. She's going to stay in there until she gets healed, and you can't heal her through it. So your next shot is on Zarya. Your next shot is on Zarya, and your nade is not going to help your Mei. It sucks, but it's not. So this is really only a 1, maybe 2-person nade. Maybe you think you're going to get Lucio and get a 3-person nade, but this is really just a Zarya nade that you're throwing here. Yeah, just a Zarya nade that you're throwing here, which isn't amazing.
I've seen worse. You're going to live.
Reload with cover, or not. Temporal, do you think Mei should be healable in Ice Block? I'm okay with her not be. I was also okay with them. I didn't love when they... What did they do? I want to say they... I could have it flipped, but I want to say they buffed the speed at which she healed in Ice Block, which now means it's definitely not necessary to make her healable in Ice Block. And there are ways to heal her. I want to say if you're pre-healing her, if you're already healing her on Mercy and she ice blocks, I think you can keep your beam attached to her. Someone would have to check that up me on that. But you can't target her for heals, which, you know, with Ana shots, you can't target her with Mercy, you can't hit her with BAP shots to heal her, all those things. So, no, I don't particularly think Mei needs to be healable in Ice Block, because I don't mind that an invulnerability cooldown, because that's what it is, has a drawback. Like, that doesn't really bother me at all. And I don't mind. I kind of like, in fact, that when you focus fire on Mei, like, I think it's a good skill in team-based games, be they shooters, be they MMOs, be they whatever, in team-based PvP that has defensive cooldowns. I think it is a necessary skill for a shot caller in a team to be able to call Mei, force ice block, Zarya, back on Mei, you know, like swap Mei, things like that. Like, I think the ability to swap to someone, force a defensive cooldown, then swap to someone else, and then recall when that defensive cooldown is over and immediately swap back to them, I think that is a good skill for teams, for shot callers or target callers, for teams to have in a team-based game like this, assuming the game has defensive cooldowns. So I kind of like that you have that drawback, and I don't want her to instantly be healable because, I mean, I guess it wouldn't be like a huge change to that because she'd get healed up faster and she'd kind of, like, its purpose is sort of to get people to drop attention on you, and you healing faster almost makes it worse at its job. I don't know. I don't particularly like it. I don't like that she gets healed faster now. I think that's the direction they changed it, but I also don't need her to be healable while she's in it even remotely. It's a little more annoying maybe that it interrupts beat, for example. When you bury her and she doesn't get beat because she just gone into ice block, that I find a little more annoying. But by and large, I don't mind that you can't heal her with outside sources for the most part when she's in ice block. Playing Ana game with no cooldowns allowed is good practice for not wasting abilities. I don't know about that, because you're not even thinking about your abilities at that point. They added reload for her in Ice Block too. Yeah, when they did that for her and for Reaper, I was just kind of like, meh. I don't think invincibility cooldowns need buffs. I don't mind the occasional invincibility cooldown as long as it's not spread to the whole cast, but like, those are a big deal. We don't need them to do more things. Like Moira reloads when she ults now too. Right? It's like, are we against the concept of reloading? What's wrong, Overwatch? Ice Block went from 37 to 50 HPS in March. That was it. Mercy Beam lingers for a second, right, but you can't reattach it when she's in Ice Block. I think the beam should still be attachable to Ice Block, but it should act the same as if you try to heal someone who's antied as Mercy. That's fine. That just raises the skill cap. I mean, it sort of lowers the skill cap right now where you can't target her, you can't target someone that you can't heal. So that would just raise the skill cap, which doesn't bother me. Not significantly, but slight raise.
My ultimate is charging.
Close the angle. You're just lucky. Like, you see how again, just a little further away. You can interact with this fight just fine from here. You don't actually need to be here. You can interact with the fight that you're... I mean, you can't interact with this fight very well, but you can't interact with the fight any better from here than you can from here. But this gives you more cover and a faster ability to close cover against that angle as well. So here we are. He hits you once. He hits you twice, both body shots. So he had time to double tap you there, which means you being alive is purely him messing up. You were a standing still Ana, and he didn't get a headshot on you. That's purely a mistake on, you're too slow to react to the first shot, but also, you just needed better cover against this. Press X. Immediately press X. Zen does not know you're in trouble. Don't ask Zen for healing. Press the I need healing button. Press the I need healing button. Don't do the, pressing the I need healing button is annoying and people don't like it and I don't want to be the Genji meme of I need healing and it's somehow offensive to press that. Don't do any of that nonsense. Press the I need healing button. This is what it's for.
You're covered.
Okay. And if Zen chooses not to heal you, that's fine. It's because there's something that he feels is more important right now, and that's life. But don't just I'm gonna shoot him and hope I hope he recognizes me. I hope he recognizes me and heals me when I shoot him. No.
I'm on fire. My ultimate is ready.
Get here.
No, you had to.
I'm on fire.
You finally cave and heal yourself,
My ultimate is
but you
ready.
just got. There are plenty of indicators on your UI that you have the Orb of Harmony. You're fine. You're fine. You may still end up having to nade yourself, but you're going behind cover now. You have the Orb of Harmony. If McCree gets too close coming through this way and he gets too close and you're still missing a lot of health, sure, you may have to nade yourself. But don't do that yet. Hold your nade. Let the orb do its work. Let it do its work.
Get healed.
You did not need to increase the effectiveness of the Orb of Harmony by... Oh, look! The McCree never had a chance of getting here because Mei shut him down.
Graviton Surge is ready.
Wait, we're not returning the favor? Oh, look! Your Zen is missing health. Missing health. Your Zen who just healed you is missing health. Hi, Zen! Bye, Zen!
Graviton Surge is ready.
You're not doing anything else useful with your weapon right now? Ugh.
Okay.
Your Zen is still missing health, by the way. It's less than 30, but... No, he won't. He won't again. You see that? You see that? He's missing some real health. But also, there was just nothing better for Ana to do right then.
Watching your back. You're powered up. Get in there.
You can nade that. Okay, fine. It's fine. Heal Zen. It's okay. You're gonna lose this, but we're gonna try. Heal your Genji. Too late. Just go to point. It's over.
Assistance would be appreciated.
If only she had nade to heal herself. Ice Block, Wraith, and Fade should all still be targetable by Mercy. Finally, an Ana punishment. It's right next to the any key. Nade yourself. The nade will make it 45 HPS instead of 30. I know, but we don't need it. We don't need it. Perfect temporal tilt. Where's that fancy new YouTube clip button when you need it? It should be there, bottom right. You should be able to clip it if you want. Temporal got so tilted. I did. Jump into the frame. Okay. You can sleep dart this. So the thing about this is it's very predictable. This ball doesn't have any control. They're going to be down here, so you just sleep dart. You just showed up, so I get it. I'm not worried about you missing this one. But you want to hit sleep darts when balls try to slam like that. You do. You just slam them. Okay, fine. They knock your Zarya up, but they get slept in exchange. No problem. And even if they start to roll away, they're starting from zero speed. Zero speed. It takes them a little bit to get going. So you're still likely to hit the pretty big target, even if they started to roll away by the time the dart gets there.
Get back.
I know this team is dealing with Shatter and Blizzard and all that stuff, but does this seem like the right place to be? Look at all these cover options. Look at them. And you've chosen to be here. You were like, I see these 4 cover options. I go right here instead. No, you do not. Please don't do that. This leaves you vulnerable to shots from the other team. Just play on the cover. It's fine.
I've seen worse. Lights out.
The bus shadows cover. I don't think so. It's cover from the sun. It's cover from the sun, but the sun is not Ana's enemy right now. Fine, take another shot at him. Yep, and now heal your run. Don't run into Hammond's Mind, Silverana. Okay, go find your cover. Where's your cover gonna be? Where's your cover? Cover. No. This could be cover. This could be cover. This is not cover. I know, you're thinking, what? I'm just like a second away from this. No, actually get here. Or get yourself here. Don't do this. And Zen's cover isn't any better, by the way. We're not sleeping the Hammond. Nade? No. Sleep? Leave. It's over. I don't know about that nade. It's a little bit of ult charge, but it sort of tells the Hammond that you don't have the ability to... Yeah. Okay. I'm not convinced Hammond pursues you at all there, if you still have nade, so... Hey, at her age, your skin is very sensitive to the sun. It causes wrinkles and liver spots. I mean, I hear you, but it's not her primary enemy right now. Like, the sun is gonna cause some wrinkles, maybe some health issues, maybe like, it makes death be more impending in the future. But, like, these enemies want to make her not alive right now. They're the more immediate threat. Let's get cover against them. We'll prioritize. Maybe cover against the sun can be a secondary priority, but the primary priority is going to be cover against the enemy bullet. Those tend to make people not alive faster than the sun. Who's the monster who gave Temporal a thumbs down? It's fine.
You're going to be okay.
Okay, this is still not a place to be. We could be up here and be like, oh, I heal that. I close the angle and I heal that. We could do that. This is not a thing. Not a place where we can hang out as Ana. It's not. Is it? Is it the moment? Are we gonna Nano Blade?
You're powered up. Get in there. Nap time.
Cool. Why are we reloading? We have things to do. Huh. Huh. Oh boy. Oh boy. I don't... Yeah.
Destination.
And as we're contributing to this battle, let's slowly work our way over here, where we can heal better. Slowly but surely. And as a sniper from Egypt, your sun care routine is on point. Fair enough, fair enough. Two thumbs down the other day too, probably the author of some Reddit post that he criticized revenging. It really doesn't bother me. It really doesn't. Could be that. It's also possible that some people don't like how harsh I am. There are people with softer review styles than I have, and it's possible someone doesn't like that I'm being harsh on someone that I'm reviewing in their mind. People have different sensitivities for that. But again, this is the level that I've chosen to come in at, and people know what they're getting when they purchase a review from me, or they're getting a review for free and I can do it how I see fit, right? So, like, not too worried.
Never stop fighting for what you believe in.
Is it Adam? Could be. Could be. Probably not, though. Has your chance to jump on the mines again? Thumbs down is also the only way to control the YouTube suggestion algorithm. I mean, it's not. You can cause the YouTube suggestion algorithm to flood you with things that you want by actually watching them or by liking and subscribing to them. Like, you can flood out stuff you don't want, and I'd say it's actually more effective at that. This isn't harsh, this is blunt. Harsh is old school Jane telling people that they suck at the game. Sure, sure.
Ourselves in glorious combat.
Defend objective A.
But some people interpret blunt or honesty or being direct as being harsh. Like, some people do. It's not correct, but some people are going to take it that way. Just like we saw a post on Overwatch University earlier today about how some people think spawn camping is rude or bad manners or something, where most people understand that it is a way to play the game, a legitimate tactic. It's something that you should do. It's the ultimate form of taking map control when it's available. So, like, you know, people are going to have different views on these things, even when some people are wrong. Being wrong doesn't mean they're not going to be offended. I don't really care that they're offended. Because, hey, that's how it works. We're going to be right, and we're not going to be like, oh, well, yeah, okay, that's life. But hey, we continue. Temporal's even rated TV Y17. Ah. Right, you have to click into the video to thumbs down it, which makes the algorithm think you wanted to watch things like it. Just thumbs down to that particular one. Right. And the truth is, the algorithm even, I mean, maybe I shouldn't reveal this, but the algorithm even looks at it and goes, oh, there's more engagement with this video because there's more people clicking either up or down on it. Well, more engagement means, maybe more people want to see it because controversial things can be popular things, popular topics. If you understand why social media and how social media exploded the way it did, well, in the old days, not in the old days, you could go, hey, let's write a story about sunshine and puppies and rainbows and this, wonderful thing, local hero, I don't know, goes and does this thing, etc. And that gets some interest and people have a little bit of a reaction to that and then they like that. But then this terrible thing that you disagree with and was done by people that aren't like you and blah, 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 that gets a much bigger reaction from you. And you might not like it, but you engaged with it, you watched it. And that's sort of why in some ways the news has gone the way it has, but also how news went, to live, we have to take advantage of how Facebook algorithms work, how Twitter works, etc. And you do get more engagement on this type of thing usually, which is, again, why something like YouTube, which is a platform in that sense, also understands this and is going to go, hey, engagement is engagement. And frequently when people are thumbs downing something, it's because they disagree with the opinion that was stated in it. But that doesn't mean that they didn't watch it and don't actually want to see more of it because they get their righteous fury. They get their, oh, well, they're wrong while watching it. And that's actually something that they like, or at least something that keeps them clicking, keeps them watching more, all that. In other words, the algorithm avoids stuff for you more if you don't look at it at all. Exactly. So if you bait dislikes, the system rewards you too. Yes, but the truth is that the like and the dislike aren't actually the most impactful things on the algorithm. The algorithm right now, as best we know, more rewards percentage watch time. So it rewards total watch time and percentage watch time. So like if you guys watch 2 minutes or 15 seconds of my video, that's not so good. If you guys watch 100% of my video, that's very good. And that's how that works. That's the metric it cares about most right now based on what we can figure out. This metric still matters, comments still matter, all these things matter, but percentage watch time and then total watch time are the things it seems to care about more. Well, as well as impression click-through rate, like it cares about, okay, how good a job does your thumbnail do of getting people to click on it? It cares about that very strongly as well. Parody says spawn camping at my elo usually is really rude because it's Smurfs or the players being boosted showing off, or else it's I don't want to say that word because if they belong there once we get one pick, we will stagger eliminate them all the way to reclaiming the point. But, oh, that's a fallacy parody. Okay, so, like, no, it's not always Smurfs. I'm not saying Smurfs don't exist in your games, because they probably do. But it's a fallacy to be like, every time we try to spawn camp them, we lose. Every time we try to spawn camp them, within, the next 30 seconds or 45 seconds or 15 seconds or 2 minutes, every time we try to spawn camp them, someone always gets eliminated and then they get out of the spawn camp, and that's bad. Like, well, duh. Of course they were always going to break the spawn camp at some point, you hope. If not, it's truly a mismatch. But this is the same concept as, hey, the cart is back here. We've already unlocked first, and we can either choose to fight you guys. If you have to fight us up here, and we have one person back here pushing the cart, we don't care. We don't care that you wiped us up here. Like, that doesn't matter to us because the cart was moving the whole time that it was happening. Or let's say we spawn camp you. Let's say we actually spawn camp you, like, aha, we're going to spawn camp you type thing. Wrong spawn door. But, like, let's pretend we're actually spawn camping back here on third as the cart is, say, right here. That's totally fine, and it doesn't matter that you wiped us or that you get a pick and then turn it into wiping us and you stagger eliminate us on the way back, because what you run into is, hey, the cart is moving the whole time. And then it's like, oh no, we get back here and stop it. Or maybe you don't get back here and stop it. But even if you do get back here and stop it, the cart got to move all that time, and that was fantastic. Or from Defender's perspective, the clock was ticking down. And you might feel like, what? Do you feel like you were never going to lose a team fight if you fought on the cart the whole time? Of course you were going to lose a team fight at some point. Like, it's not like, oh, well, we're spawn camping and that's why we lost the next team fight. No. You always had a roughly 50-50 chance of winning or losing the next team fight, but now when they eliminate you here on top of their own spawn, they have to walk and cover this distance, which is great for you, before they can go stop the cart. And it actually, relatively speaking, shortens your respawn distance to the cart and increases their respawn distance to the cart, or to whatever the objective is. Like, it's good. It's very good. Now, you could be saying, no, they keep staggering, like your team sort of half retreats and gets wiped on their way retreating from the spawn camp, but that's just a mistake, and that mistake happens in regular team fights too. Like, that happens in silver team fights like the ones we're on here. You see, they run from a regular team fight that they can't actually get out of, and they get eliminated. Again, your spawn camp isn't worse in that situation. Your spawn camp is better, and this belief of, like, every time my team goes and tries to spawn camp them, or every time my team tries to hold in front of the point in King of the Hill, they lose. Yeah, they're supposed to. If there aren't extreme smurfs on either side of the game, they're supposed to eventually lose a fight. They're not supposed to be able to hold the same choke without dropping a fight for 3, 4, 5 minutes in a row. Like, if you think young Anna is okay. If they belong there equals if they belong at Milo. Yeah, I understood what you meant. Spawn camp is a good way to taunt the other team to waste ultis. Right, and if they have to use ults to get out of spawn to get some semblance of map control back, fantastic. Speeding Paul and Hog out of spawn to get eliminated seems unproductive. Okay. I look holding in front of the point. I just don't like holding with nose pressed into the enemy spawn doors. Okay, but you're wrong. And like, I don't mean to be like too mean about that, because you're right if you're going, hey, I don't want my Reinhardt standing right here. That is correct. But if you want your Reinhardt to stand right here or right here, that's fine with me. That's totally fine with me. Like, you should be threatening the enemy spawn doors. If you're like, I'm Ashe and I'm over here. I'm Ashe and I'm over here and our cart's back on second. I'm Soldier or I'm Tracer and I'm hanging out over here and the cart's back on second. That's totally fine. Like, again, yes, you don't necessarily want your Zen standing right here. You don't even want your Reinhardt or your Hog necessarily standing right here, but you should be going, okay, we are red team or we're the attacking team. We would like to control this portion of the map and everything this way of it. You guys can have your spawn room and maybe these first little, tiny rooms outside of your spawn room. Flat says it doesn't count unless you touch the spawn door. Flats is a Rhine player. Rhine gets away with it a little bit more than others. And this isn't a great map for touching the enemy spawn door anyway, but hey. Okay. Flats is also choosing to be entertaining with that statement. But like on King's Row Second, yeah, you'll touch the enemy. I guess you don't technically touch the enemy spawn door. You touch the area just outside their spawn door, very similar to this, where there's that sort of box, and you touch just outside of that. But you might touch their spawn door itself at the bottom of the stairs, the second point attacker spawn, if you're defensively spawn camping.
Get back in.
Okay, back to our Anna. Fun little spawn camping discussion.
Watching your ball.
Sure. You're fine. You can take one more shot at her. You're gonna reload. Fine. Who are you healing? What are you healing? They're all full health. You're just wasting shots. King's Row Second is kind of different because you have angles to cover right there. You're not exposing yourself to peer into their spawn room. Right. You don't need to peer right into their spawn room. Like, you should not let them out of their spawn room, and you might set a tank literally to the right or left of their spawn door. But yes, you don't necessarily want to put yourself in sight lines that they can see. On the other hand, there's times you'll do it. Let's not pretend on Route 66 that it doesn't make sense if you win hard enough to, in some cases, spawn camp them. First point. They heard Temporal complain about Zen missing 4 health and is making sure everyone is 100% tapped off. Nice, nice. Do you hear it? No, we're not going to turn and flip the ball. Okay. Offensive shots. Everyone's plenty healthy. You can take offensive shots.
Nailed.
Okay.
Operating at maximum efficiency.
Objective A captured. Escort the payload.
You're at 10 shots. What? Why? Why are we reloading at 10 shots? This is not the first time you've done this kind of thing. Oh look, before you're done reloading, your hog's at half health.
30 seconds remaining.
This one's better. 9 ammo, reload. This is about pre-healing territory, sure.
We're out of time. Everyone, attack now.
You can flick to Pharah real quick, up to you. The real alpha move is for attackers to win hard enough to spawn camp defenders on first point Route 66. I mean, that's what quad DPS was. Quad DPS as an answer to GOATs, and one of the places it was most frequently run was by attackers on Route 66, was, hey, you come out on quad DPS, you beat their GOATs hard, you don't have any tanks because you're running 4 DPS and 2 supports, and you go hard send your DPS forward to, like, run up there and control second point and not let them out of their spawn because tanks are good at taking space, main tanks anyways. Off tanks are generally good at holding space, but DPS are pretty good at holding space too. They're just not good at taking it. So you take all the space while they're wiped, and that was hilariously fun to do. But hey.
I have your back.
She has self-ferocity. Okay, okay. We're just not interested in sleeping the Hammond, are we?
Get in there. You're covered. Enemy down.
Interesting. Interesting.
Initiating.
Actually,
Okay.
Reinhard, what should I focus on today?
Protect your teammates. Make sure they do not falter.
Unlucky that Ryan was melted really fast. Hey, Semitic.
5,
Like,
4,
2 more steps to the right, Anna. 2 more steps.
1. Attackers incoming.
This crosshair
Defend
placement
objective
is
A.
no.
Everyone ready? Let's
You can get Reaper. That Reinhardt was full health. Brick. Okay.
Will only hurt for a minute.
Close the angle. Why are you opening the angle?
This will
I
only
know
hurt
you would
for
like a
minute.
follow-up, but no one's actually weak over there. So just keep this angle closed because they're definitely paying attention to you. You see this? They're definitely paying attention to you. So reclose the angle and hide until they decide that they want to push onto point or something, make themselves a little more vulnerable. You do not... Why? Why? Why would you run so far from your cover? What was wrong with this cover? Do you want this cover instead? This is not the time to transition to this cover. This was the cover. And it didn't matter that we couldn't see the enemies from this cover. That's kind of the point of cover. We were just happy to wait it out until the opponents dropped to go try to run at our Orisa, and then we can peek back out and do work again. Okay. She wants to go home, you think? Okay, okay. Sure. So that's sort of the thing. Like, I get it. I totally understand why you were like, I've got to solve this fight with a nade. And I can see that, and the nade could be the solution to this fight. I don't particularly like it. I'd have actually preferred you self-nade, because I think your solution to this fight has to involve you beating their soldier. And if you're going to beat that soldier, you're probably going to have to heal yourself. You might instead use the soldier on him, but you're probably going to have to nade yourself and then beat this soldier. Like, your team is very unlikely to win if you get eliminated, but also if their soldier maintains control of this high ground. So, like, you are sort of the queen pieces here. We have a queen piece here. We have a queen piece here. You're a flex support with high ground and a hit scan with high ground. These guys are all pawns. Like, his pawns are winning the battle, don't get me wrong, but they're all pawns. You two are much more valuable pieces with your positions. You need to solve him. Being like, I'm going to have more influence on the pawn battle. That's cool and all, and you could even out the pawn battle, but if you get eliminated or risk getting eliminated and evening out the pawn battle while their queen is still on the board in position, you're going to be in trouble. And it's not specifically because, like, oh, Soldier is such a good hero, or, oh, Anna's, better than Reaper or anything like that. It's the positioning that you guys have and the amount of influence you guys are going to have over the fights with this positioning. If only she had health. Yeah, if she had health, that'd be great.
This is going to hurt.
Double
Yeah. Oh, look! Soldier takes you down, and then his team wins the fight. That fight was turnable. His team was winning, but that fight was turnable if you don't get eliminated, or especially if you take down their soldier. Why? There's a Hammond. Let's sleep it. He's going to be right here. Right here. Let's sleep it. We can either aim right here and hit him, or we can accept that we're going to get knocked up and aim at an angle downwards to hit him in that same spot. We can do it. We can do it. I'll come back to spawn camping parody. I'm going to finish the rest of the standard portion of this review first.
the payload.
I've seen it. You're going to.
I can see it. You, like, almost hit the reload button here. You're like, heal, I want to reload. I want to reload, and you change your mind.
I've seen worse.
Good.
You're going to.
And then you reload with one shot. Okay.
60 seconds remaining.
You did. You did. Welcome to the live review here, Soaring Aegis. You're at the very end of it, but you caught us live, which means you can ask questions and the such if you'd like in chat there, or get into the spawn camp debate. Okay. So there's not really a reason to stay close to this. This is fine. But you're walking in here like you're going to hit a massive nade on him, on Hog, on yourself. You don't have nade for 4 seconds. You tell me, do Reinhardts usually stay asleep on the front line for 4 seconds when you sleep them? I don't think they do. So we don't want to be here. We just want to ease right back into our cover. Okay.
Victory.
So far and away,
Initiating match.
the most important thing for you to do to level up your Ana here is play near cover. This is important. Not like here, but like here. Not like here, but like here. Play near cover. You should literally be within a step of cover. You do not need to be standing out here, and if you start taking fire, we don't go, oh, how do I get to cover? No, no, no. We were here to start, and if we start taking fire, it's one step, and then maybe a second step so explosions don't get us. That's all it takes. And then you might go, but how am I going to contribute to the fight? That's the key. You can just be like, nope. Either they pay attention to this wall and shoot at this wall, accomplishing nothing except getting out of the fight, or they give up and shoot at my teammates, which they will within about a second and a half, and then I re-peek and I take my shots. It's all good. It's all good. It's perfectly fine. So just take your step back. Don't stand out here. Don't do this. stand here. I'm not saying you can't ever be rotating from one set of cover to another. That can happen. And sometimes you'll get caught mid-rotation. The fight starts. So you're rotating because of how the fight is evolving, and then how it's evolving changes, and you have to change back to the previous cover. That's fine. But you should have cover in mind, or you should be rotating to a new set of cover. And having cover is actually having the cover, not being over here and thinking that's your cover. That's too far. Not being here and thinking this is your cover. That's too far. If this is your cover, this is your cover. If this is your cover, this is your cover. If you need to open it a little bit to get a steeper angle on the opponents, no problem. But that's not over here. That's over here. And then you can still close it pretty quick. See how that works? Like, cover is going to be incredibly important to you. Incredibly important. Like, far and away, the most important thing for your Ana here is going to be cover. And there's a lot of places we could go with the next thing for you to work on. We could be like, hey, please predictively sleep the Hammonds. Like, seriously, that was a lot of Hammonds that pile drive that just got no punishment whatsoever. And Ana is a Hammond counter. Like, yeah. Ana makes Hammond not happy by throwing that stun in there. That doesn't mean you're going to eliminate him, but he gets very unhappy when he gets stunned basically every time he goes in there for a pile drive. And like, I'm really hesitant to make that your second piece of advice because it's really Hammond specific. Now we get into other heroes that you could cover this with, but like, it should be automatic. It really should. We could talk about your reloads. I don't think I want to talk about your reloads. We could talk about your target selection. I don't think I want to go there. We had the nano on Winston. Ugh. I think sleeps is going to be your second thing. Like, you were slow to sleep the hog. We had the hog at the very opening of the match. We had the hog whole hogging twice, and they were bad whole hogs, but there should just instantly summon sleep darts to them, and they're not. Like, I think we do want to talk about your sleeps, where the very first thing and the most important thing by far is going to be your cover usage, but then I do want you to pay attention to your sleep dart usage. Ults should just summon sleeps. Oh, attack visor, it gets a sleep. Oh, whole hog, it just gets a sleep. But also, hog hooks should summon sleeps. Pile drive should summon sleeps. There are lots of things that give you pretty reliable sleeps. Start with figuring out when can you reliably hit tanks with sleeps and work your way from there. It's hog when he goes for hooks or whole hog. It's D.Va right after she's dropped DM. It's Winston when he jumps in and drops his bubble, you step in and you sleep him right as he drops his bubble because he can't get to the edge of his bubble to use it to sleep dance well enough. Like, you got to find when you can reliably sleep these tanks. Reinhardt, you should just automatically throw sleep darts at Earth Shatters because he's going to desperately want to follow it up. Like, get used to these tanks and get into okay, how am I going to get some sleep value on them? Because they're some of your easy targets to start with. You should also just automatically try to sleep a lot of ults, high noons, missile barrages, attack visors, dragon blades, all those stuff should automatically draw sleeps. But let's start with these tanks. These tanks are relatively easy to sleep comparatively, even if you don't trust your aim yet. And you can work your way through, okay, let me figure out this is what I do here, this is what I do here, this is what I do here. These are the two things I want you to work on. But first and foremost, far and away most important, is play closer to cover. You will be amazed at how much easier the game gets. And if you feel like, oh, I can't contribute, that's fine. Just wait a second or two, then step back out and get back to contributing. It's totally fine, but play near your cover. Okay, if people have questions, you can throw them up in chat now. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate that. Or if you're looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, what sort of promos, special events we have going on, or in fact, we do have server scrims going on. We're trying to schedule those for the weekend here, upcoming Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So if that's something that's interested to you, or pugs, some of you would just know them as pugs. If you want to do scrim pugs, something like that, where it's like, hey, these are with people who will communicate, maybe with people who you've seen reviewed here, or you've seen in this community's chat before. If you want to play with them and be like, hey, this will be fun. Everyone's sort of got somewhat of a similar understanding of the game because they've listened to Temporal. They've watched a couple videos like that. They're interested in a little bit of, not highly organized play because these are pugs that we're talking about. But if you want to participate in those, or if you want to see what they're all about, go join the Discord. And in there, you can see the event planning section and react to which days and times you could make there. That would be helpful so we can figure out what makes sense for the most people. And now we should actually be able to set this up where, hey, we can do this with as many people as it takes. If we have a sudden in wave of people because, oh, there's a lot more now since the last time we did this in the channel, that's fine. We'll set up 2 different groups and we'll have 4 teams instead of 2. And if we need to create a console group, we could even do that because we've now got the ability to do cross-platform stuff in custom games. Now, that wouldn't be the most serious scrim, but that's okay. We'll see what we get here. Not nades, self-healing, and pressing X. They made the short list blob, but they didn't make the list I actually gave them. Okay. Okay. Let's take a look here. Soaring Aegis, laughing at sort of making it. Okay. You're always catching support games at the end? Well, join the Discord. Then you get the pings. They're not like the YouTube notifications that take time to go out and are limited in the number that can go out per day. If you join the Discord and go to get roles, you can become a watcher by reacting, and then you get pings when they go live to Nana Split. There you go. But if they don't get close, Ryan can't cleave everyone and get his ult in 2 swings. True. Might have been able to greed an aid there if they were screaming into comms, don't wake Ryan. Unlikely. Unlikely in the chaos that is just naturally likely to exist when the card is just about on top of the yellow box of victory. Well, basically in the yellow box of victory. Gonna catch up on parodies in a second. Why is watching someone else's review am not learning as much? Because it's not you. Because it's not you, and they play differently than you, and they have different habits. And frequently watching a similar ranked review or a little bit higher ranked review will be useful for learning. But, sometimes the holes that you have in your gameplay are very different than the holes that they have in theirs. Frequently it'll help, but ultimately getting reviews of yourself is the most useful thing. But similar level reviews or slightly higher reviews or even way higher reviews do have their uses. This Ana player's what they need just differs quite a bit from you. Overwatch is still region lock? I don't think so. I think that got effectively removed. And even when it was region locked, you could still change the server that you logged into, or at least I could for my region. I remember I did coaching in Australia, I did coaching in Europe, like sometimes we'd scrim against Korean teams, like so yeah, I've been on all of the servers. Okay. It's more when you wake up because of overnight shifts. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Banana Split. Sorry to hear that. I might try to do a few more odd time streams. Maybe those will work a bit better for you. But ultimately, I am sort of building an audience, and mostly I've built an audience for sort of daytime, even daytime weekday stuff at this. But we'll see. We'll see where the audience takes us in terms of when the most people watch. It's really cool to see lower level VODs. Cool. Glad you enjoyed it. Okay, let me catch up on Parody here because Parody wanted to get into it about, or continue to get into it about spawn camping here. So, okay, here's the thing about spawn camping. The camped can literally trade 6 for 1. It's fine because when they respawn, now it's a 6v5. If a team knew to back to a safer posture once they were down, that would be one thing, but they won't do that when they are still 5. That makes a stagger fight now just possible, but practically inevitable. I can definitely see if you knew when to back down, it would be a real strategy, but uncoordinated groups at the bottom of the ladder are simply not capable of that kind of coordination. Just getting them to regroup as 6 after a last fight is like pulling teeth sometimes. Not really strategy, I mean to say real strategy or really good strategy. Said something in between by mistake. It is better, though, when defending the last part of King's Row Route 66, where their spawn is basically on top of the payload anyway, and you have a long way to go still. Or more accurately, they have a long way to go, which is the finish line, unlike Koth, which is where it is more difficult. More generally, I feel like with a few exceptions, like King's Row, the strongest offensive points between their spawn and the point is ahead of the point, but not standing on their doorstep. but it's not okay. You're going too far here. But it's not just about the strongest defensive point. You also get more fights. Like yes, if we have this where it's like here's the cart, here's a spot in front of the cart, here's their spawn. We can set up here, and this is the best possible defense. Cool. But depending on how weak or strong our positioning is for a spawn camp, how weak or strong our possible positions are for a spawn camp, and depending on where this choke is, and depending on where the card is, we may be able to go spawn camp, lose, and still get a fight here. But even if we can't get a fight here, and we instead have to take a fight here, that's still in front of the cart, and we still got, hey, this is like a 60% good hold, but this is like a 50% or even a 45% good hold, followed by like a 40% good hold, well, it can be worth it totally to go, let's get the 45% good hold plus the 40% good hold rather than try to set up at the 60% good hold. Like, that's absolutely a thing that we can do. And your other concern, and you've gotten into this, is, hey, if we try to hold the spawn camp and the card is back here, what's going to happen is we're going to lose someone, and then we're going to continue to try to spawn camp. And yes, your spawn camp is effectively really usually going to be over once you've lost one person. Generally, at that point, your spawn camp is going to fall apart. But that doesn't actually mean that the right answer is to, like, and maybe this is your complaint, that doesn't mean that the right answer is everyone to hoof it away, because yes, they're going to get staggered, but they're not really getting staggered if what's happening is they continue to try to hold this spawn camp. Like, okay, now we have 4 people up here, now we have 3 people up here, now we have 2 people up here, so be it. You guys haven't made progress out of here until you've dealt with these last 2 people, these last 3 people. It doesn't matter that you dealt with the first person or the first 2 people a good 10 seconds ago. In fact, these people might start to run back, but even if they don't, it doesn't matter that you dealt with them 10 seconds ago, because what you're running into is you're not doing any better of a job of stopping the cart until you've dealt with these people. So, like, you're not really staggering them. The only situation in which you're actually staggering them is a situation where you got an elimination, one elimination, and then your team goes, oh, our spawn camp is over now, let's run away. And as you're running away, you get eliminated here and here and here. And now maybe you get even someone eliminated here. And now you're forced into a team fight where, whoops, now we're having to team fight them 6v4 on the cart, and that shouldn't really have happened. Like, yeah, there's a bit of a staggering going on here, but even if this worst case scenario does happen, how many fights did you win up here, and how much distance did you get while they were getting their stagger limbs on the way back? So, like, I see where you're going, Parody, but I really think you probably have a case of your judgment is being colored a little bit here by, like, oh, it always goes wrong when we do this, and I understand that, like, they're not doing it the way top-level teams do it, and I do get that, but, like, I don't want to say even spawn camping with 0 practice is always correct, because it's not. You do have to understand there is a technique to spawn camping. You do have to understand, okay, how we're going to use the positions around the spawn, how we're going to do it, but, like, lean into it. And you're going to have the best time. If anyone on your team wants to spawn camp, you're going to have a better time if you spawn camp. Like, and I know that's challenging because you'll run into situations where, like, 2 people are determined to spawn camp, 2 people are determined not to spawn camp, and you go, what do I do? I get it that's hard, but, like, don't be one of the 2 people that's determined to not spawn camp if your team wants to spawn, if other members of your team want to spawn camp. Even if it's not as good, you know, the cards aren't laid on the table perfectly, you're going to get more out of it if you go for it in most situations. But yeah, there's absolutely ways to spawn camp wrong where it can cost you more than you get value out of it from. And in some situations, if you're in a situation like King's Row second, where potentially it's like, okay, we can have a good stronghold on second, like we have a good stronghold set up around this choke, and our team has no idea how to spawn camp, and we could hold them a little bit further up with our spawn camp, but we have no idea how to spawn camp. Yeah, probably not worth it to stupidly give up your good strong choke to go spawn camp. Like, there's absolutely times when spawn camping is wrong. If you know how to spawn camp, absolutely this is worth it. But if you don't have this, because instead the card is back over here, for example, it's already past this, and now you're pushing back up to spawn camp them, well, in theory you could hold this again, but this choke is less good when the cart isn't involved in it, so it becomes more interesting to go spawn camp like this. Or if the card is right here, I'm drawing King's Row, I hope you guys see it, or if the card is right here, Okay, this might make more sense to spawn camp. So I can see where you're coming from. I wouldn't undersell spawn camping even in low-level games. They removed that temporal with the console crossplay patch. What did they remove? What did they remove? I don't know what that's in reference to, blah. That's nice, CC Cleaner. Okay. Trying? No, I'm just not going to be able to get to that. Fine. Even I don't find it acceptable. To me, it's useful to see the kind of mistakes my teammates might be doing. Yep. Oh, find applicable. Okay, got it. Okay, and I didn't even mention back camping. Oh, okay, let's scroll back up a little bit here, Parody. It's better, though, when, example, defending the last part of King's Row, Route 66, where their spawn is basically on top of the payload anyway. That's not really spawn camping. I mean, you have to, at the end, as attacker, at the end of most payload maps, you have to be on top of their spawn. Same with thing with the at the end of 2CP. Most of us wouldn't really consider that spawn camping. Or more accurately, they have a long way to go out to the finish line, unlike Koth, which is where it's more difficult. More generally, I feel like with a few exceptions, like King's Row, the strongest defensive point between their spawn and the point is ahead of the point, but not standing on their doorstep. Right, but I did cover that. Like, you do have to value and do your equation. A, you have to figure out, well, what is my team going to do, whether I like it or not? But B, you have to figure out, yes, the best, if we talk about Ruins, the best defensive hold point on Ruins is just ahead of the point. Yes, but if you spawn camp them, you can get that spawn camp hold, and if you lose that spawn camp hold, you can still potentially get back to point and fight for point before you actually lose control of the point. So even though you went from a like 60% good hold to a 40% good hold or a 50% good hold, you also then get a 30% good hold on top of it in re-entering and refighting for the point itself before they've actually been able to flip the point. So, like, you have to fit that into your calculations. I'm also not sure we mean the same thing by spawn camping. When I say spawn camp, I mean half the team is at their door and everyone can see their doors. Well, yes, everyone should be able to see their doors when you're spawn camping, unless it's a case of everyone but one person who's pushing the cart can see their doors. Everyone should be able to see their doors. They might not have the angle open on their doors, but they should be able to see that immediate spot that they walk out into. Yes. I don't mean you're defending a choke very close to their spawn. Right, but like, again, it's going to depend a little bit what we're talking about. I wouldn't consider your attacking team and you're holding here to be spawn camping. I would consider your attacking team and you have your Reinhardt here and your Ashe up here and, I don't know, maybe a Tracer hanging out here or a Tracer hanging out over here to be spawn camping. I would consider that spawn camping. I would not consider, hey, our Reinhardt is set up here and our Ashe is set up back here to be spawn camping. And again, this would be with reference to the cart is still on second. If the cart is on third, in some ways, this is just what happens. Okay. And I didn't even mention back camping, which likely someone will go Sombra or something and do. That you and no one will notice until much too late. Should really make it my job to hit tab more when they're spawn camping just for that alone. Well, you can see point progress at the top. Yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely a risk, and points have been ninja'd. And that's fine. That's counterplay. Like, that is part of the counterplay to spawn camping. No objection from me. Tab more when we're spawn camping for just that alone. You don't have to necessarily tab that you can. You can also pay attention to the objective there. Like, pay attention to the objective marker that you get at the top of your user interface. There we go. Usually it's more like the last 2 or 3 run away and get staggered on the way back to point, and they respawn 3 to 4, get killed, which means 3v4, v6 at the point. Right, and that's a problem. That's it being executed terribly, terribly wrong. But you can probably fix that. Like, don't run, fight them at the door. Like, when you start to lose a spawn camp, you can probably fix that on voice comms with, like, you shouting, push their door, don't run, don't stagger, you know, something like that. Like, you can probably fix that on comms. Always support the play even if you don't like it. Good, good. Is this the Stagger Diva and Scrims debate all over again? No, not really, though it could have been its own video. What's that saying? Better to make the wrong play as a team than it might work, but if you're split up, it definitely won't. Something along those lines, right? Congrats on the CC Cleaner sponsorship. Okay. I'll never understand the people who camp doors that won't let them get damaged. Okay. I do have a session coming up, so I am going to have to call it here. If you guys are enjoying the content, once again, please do like and subscribe, as that really does help me out quite a bit, and I do appreciate that. Or if you're looking to get coaching yourself, you can join the Discord in the description below. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Temporal out.